God is a relational being and has created us male and female. In effect, homosexual acts deny half the image of God. We were created in His image, and His image includes female and male. And so when we entertain and deny what God has created and the way He has created it, we are saying we only want half the image of God. As Paul sees it, they are unnatural because they don't reflect the fullness of the divine image of God. He's not so much concerned about what is worse. He's just looking at the truth of who God is. Remember that basically all of Romans is revealing the righteousness and the holiness of God. And so what I would like to do in chapter 2, and even at the end of chapter 1, is move away from our sin and start moving into some kind of inspirational, motivational teaching right now, because this is killing me. I want to go, yep, I know we're sinful, God. Thanks for that. Let's move on. But Paul is not leaving this point. But what he is doing is trying to reveal to us here at Change how incredible God is. How holy and divine, and everything that He has created is perfect. In the state that He designed it for, it is perfect because He is a perfect God. And so Paul is not coming in from a moral high code trying to judge people. He's basically making an observation of people's decisions, of the nature of law and the law of nature, following their decisions and their choice and the free will that God has given them, saying this is the result. We deny half the image of God, and we get total disintegration of humanity, and it breaks down. So you're saying, well, that's a bit full on. Yes. I don't know any other way to say it except that God is love. And He sent His Son, Jesus Christ. Romans 1 verse 17 says, "The just shall live by faith." Why is Paul revealing this horrible truth about us, about all of us? We all have dark, horrible secrets right now in this room. Things that no one knows. Things that we're ashamed of. Why? Because we are messed up. But God is love. And He sent His Son to live the perfect life, to die on a cross, so that we would just have faith in Jesus. Not faith in our ability to try and do it our own way and make the right decision, but have faith that Jesus is the only one that can save us. He is the only way. Jesus Christ, He is the Messiah, the Son of God. He is the way, the truth, and the life. None shall come to the Father except through Him. The truth is that the entire human race stands under the wrath of God. It is not just those engaged in homosexual intercourse. As Lance Pearson has said, Romans 2 rounds on the self-righteous homophobe as devastatingly as Romans 1 exposed the militant gay. Romans 3 heaps us all together as sinners under God's judgment. So Romans 1 is about all of the world. Romans 2 is basically, in modern day interpretation, about us, the church. and our highfalutin, high moral codes that we look down upon the world and make statements. And so as soon as someone says, yeah, that's wrong, and we start making judgments on that, we have in turn turned the wrath of God upon ourselves. Why? Because we are just as bad as the people that Paul is talking about in Romans chapter 1. I sit here broken, messed up, totally screwed up, but only by the grace of God can I stand up here tonight and talk about Jesus Christ. Francis Chan says that these kind of leaders, these kind of people, these kind of self-righteous people, they felt a security based upon their position rather than their lifestyles. Listen to that again. They felt a security based upon their position rather than their lifestyles. They judged others, believing that they were somehow above the law. So, let's read Romans chapter 2, verse 1. We're crossing over. Therefore, you have no excuse, O man. I love that. O man. Every one of you who judges. For in passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself. The original Greek for judge and condemn here are connected. They're almost the same word. Slightly different, but basically the same word. For in passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself because you, the judge, practice the very same things. We know that the judgment of God rightly falls on those who practice such things. Do you suppose, O man, you who judge those who practice such things and yet do them yourself, that you will escape the judgment of God? Or do you presume on the riches of his kindness and forbearance and patience, not knowing that God's kindness is meant to lead you to repentance? But because of your hard hearts, you are storing up wrath for yourself on the day of wrath, when God's righteous judgment will be revealed. Paul is speaking to the Jews in the church here. He's speaking to those that look down on the Gentiles. So the Gentiles lived by the law of nature, but the Jews lived by the law of the Mosaic covenant. So we have two kinds of law, and that's why Romans 1 in verse 18 talks about the wrath of God, but that no man has any excuse because creation and all that he has done tells us of his glory and his wonders and how amazing it is. So by the law of nature, what is created, we should see that and go, wow, he's incredible. But if we live by that law and still make choices, we are judged by that law of nature. So Gentiles are judged by the law of nature, but the Jews were judged by the Mosaic law because they were put under that law because they were chosen within that.